St. Lucia, island of the west, land of breeze, by literature blessed, steam rising from the sea, and valleys spreading verdantly, majestic Peter's Alpha Springs, St. Lucia, land of beauty sings, distinguished men have graced thy past, their deeds of fame for thee amassed. May with thy newborn always be people prepared to honor thee, majestic Peter's Alpha Springs, St. Lucia, land of beauteous things, where thy native children go, full harvest of goodwill they grow, creative skills in arts and crafts, gush from their ingenious hearts, majestic Peter's Alpha Springs, St. Lucia, land of beauteous things. May wisdom guide our hearts and minds in carrying out progressive plans. May lead us always be upright in this land of hope and light, majestic Peter's Alpha Spring, land of beauteous things.
All right. And we must ring the bell for such a beautiful song. And this song has been around for generations, a long time. A beautiful song. I want to, before I go into that, let me say a special good night to all the beautiful, beautiful people of St. Lucia, wherever you are. Welcome to the program Friday Nights with your host, the man Champagne. Friday Night, St. Lucia on the Move. Yes, this is indeed the title of the program. And I try my best to be here every Friday to bring you on. The program is primarily based on positivity, things that are happening to our beautiful country in a positive light, proposals, commencements, things that we are looking forward to, beautiful things. The program is not based on any back and forth with any political party. It's about St. Lucia's productivity, us trying to put one foot forward and put in another one, and then another one, and then another one. So St. Lucia on the Move Friday Nights is what the program is called, and I'm really pleased to be here with you on a gorgeous looking Friday. A little bit of rain just before I got in here. We need the rain very, very badly. So I'm very happy to be here with you, and I'm always happy to be in studio just to share the little bit of information that I have. Just a little bit I have to go around, sourcing up information so I could come here and to, just give you a little bit of what I gathered. And I hope I'm doing a good job at that for some people. For some people, maybe not, but for some people, I hope I am. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you very much for joining me here on the various platforms. We are on the YouTube channel, we are on the Facebook channel, we are on Google, and then we are on the various links on around the world. So Solid FM, we are indeed the sounds of the people. Thank you for joining in. And this song, we have heard this song for such a long time. And I wonder how many of us ever paid full attention to the words of the song. This song was well written and well sung. Indeed, I grew up listening to this song, and it is just indeed a beautiful song, very meaningful song. It serves its purpose exactly what the song is, that the singer is saying in song is actually what St. Lucia is. St. Lucia is a land of beauteous things. Just beautiful people and all around beauty. And I don't know if we take it for granted sometimes, some of us, but people like myself will love this land. I love the song, and I love every part of the song, every word. It is indeed a beautiful song, well written and well sung song. So I think every once in a little while that song should be played at government events, at sporting events. I mean, not the entire song, but maybe one or two of the verses should be played to, have our people to understand that we are indeed blessed with a beautiful, beautiful land of beauteous things. Even at schools, I think this song should be played every once in a little while at events that, if there is an auditorium, there's a huge a conference maybe at the school or whatever. You play this song after the national anthem, you play this song. So it will allow our children to grow up having pride in their country, letting our youngsters know that they were born into a beautiful, beautiful land. St. Lucia, land of beauteous things. It is indeed beautiful. All right, I want to say to you again, thank you very much. I want to start somewhere. We only have a 2-hour program. So I said this morning on my program that I was going to, speak a little bit about this current administration and its first 100 days in office. And this is what the program is going to be all about this evening, well, tonight. But before I delve into that, I want to speak about some level of positivity in regards to an area of St. Lucia. And I spoke briefly on it this morning. But I did not realize, and a whole lot of us probably did not realize until it came out a couple days ago, I think it was, when I was watching the news, where there was a special church service held down at the Catholic Church in Vieux-Fort. And Bishop Malzel was, bringing about the service. And he said, and it was very surprising to me, that there was not a single homicide in Vieux-Fort in a full year. Let me say that again. Vieux-Fort had not recorded one single homicide in 365 days. Boy, that deserves the best. And the reason why I brought that up again is because we all know that Vieux-Fort was the breeding ground for homicide. I mean, I don't have to go through it again. Almost every day, 2 got shot, 2 dead, kids getting shot while they're asleep, and all kinds of stuff happened down there over the last 5 to 10 years. A lot of killings happened down in Vieux-Fort. And when I heard the news, and I did not even pay attention, I'm certainly sure a whole lot of other St. Lucians, did not realize that 365 days had gone without a single homicide down at Vieux-Fort. That is just beautiful. Now, I just saw on the news again, they were interviewing people on the streets in that regard. And, the various people had their various comments, their various views on it. And some people said it was because of the churches, and the various groups with Raise Your Voice, and my brother Sherry and Dr. King, and those people participated in making that move, helping out to bring some level of peace and quietness down in the South. They did. They really did. Dr. King, they went out there while this thing was really, really revving up. It was getting too serious. It was getting out of hand. And they had the courage to go in there. The various groups go in there, the churches. I remember there was a march, I think. It was not a protest. It was a march with prayer. A lot of things happened down there. So all of that helped. Then the police also helped in bringing some form of peace and normalcy down there in Vieux-Fort. All of that was very, very well put together for that area of our beautiful country, because it was terrible. And then my guys down, my work colleagues, You know, sometimes guys would just, by 6 o'clock, everybody would be in. And you heard one of the ladies said that they could not walk the streets in Vieux Fort. In broad daylight, people were afraid to go downtown. It was that bad. And my work colleagues also told me that maybe, they were not for certain, maybe it is because some of the notorious people are in prison. That is a possibility as well. And then I said this morning, if that is part of it, when these guys are released, whoever they are, I don't know who these people are. Excuse me. I don't know who these people are, but when these people are, you know, out of prison, when they have served their sentence, they should be monitored. If they are indeed notorious, if they're the ones that bring about that level of violence, crime and violence, then these people should be monitored. This is how you do it. The police should put a watch on these people, put out an APB, like the Americans would say, and make sure that these people are in check so they don't bring that level of crime and violence back in the South, where people are now breathing a sigh of relief and people are able to walk, go to church, people are able to walk the streets. So, you know, I think this should help if you know who the notorious people are. For me, while all these things, the participation of all the various groups, churches, whatever, for me, I think the presence, and I've said it before, the presence of the United States Navy in the waters of the Caribbean has something to do with this. It has helped in a significant way. Because for me, drug trafficking, gun trafficking, human trafficking, and all those narco-terrorists were part of this violence that rained down on our beautiful island. Rained down, I said. I don't know if there are no more drugs. I cannot tell you. I'm not involved in any kinds of drug trafficking. I don't know who has drugs, who are drug dealers, but I believe in my heart that drug dealing, drug trafficking has a huge, huge part to play in crime and violence. I just believe that. And I'm not going to go into details. So if there's a limited amount of drugs coming in, excuse me, something is bothering my throat. If there's a limited amount of drugs coming in, that would limit the level of crime. I'm assuming, this is an assumption for me, because I don't know. The police probably would give you more detail on that and the people that are involved with those kinds of statistics. But from a layman with common sense, it would tell me if you have less drugs coming in, then you would have less crime and violence. So I think that helped with the presence of the United States military or Navy down there in the waters of the Caribbean to, you know, monitor, so to speak, narco traffickers. I think that helped. Okay, and there was a lot of controversy relating to that, where people were saying that fishers were blown out of the water. I don't believe any fishers were blown out of the water. I never would believe that. The commander of the Navy would have to tell me, Champagne, yes, we were blowing up fishers, people that were just out there on their daily fishing trips, and we were blowing them up out of the water for no reason. I doubt that even if the commander says that to me, I would still doubt it. I believe these guys have enough intelligence, enough surveillance to monitor what is going on. They have their drones, they have all forms of technology to know and to pinpoint which boat is bringing about the illegal guns and drugs and everything else. So I think that helped for me. And the outcome is that we are at 365 days that the South, Vieux Fort in particular, had not gone with they had not recorded one single homicide. Boy, that's the best. I have to read that. That was beautiful. Even myself, I mean, when I get out of work, when I get out of the airport, I have nothing to do downtown Vieux Fort. I'm heading for Castries, and Castries was bad too. So we have seen an all-around decline, although we have had one or two little. The program is not for that, but the program is about positivity. And that is indeed a positive when we heard the report that 365 days had gone without a single homicide. So Vieux Fort and its surroundings, all of the people that are involved in making this beautiful change. The various groups, churches, whoever, congratulations to you and bravo and keep it up. We will support you in whatever that you did. And if these guys that are in prison, they will be out at some point. I don't know. I don't know how long their sentences are. We will need to monitor them. Yeah, we need to put a tag on them. So you don't just put criminals back out on the streets and they're not, there's no check. These guys have to be monitored. This is how you take care of your society. You don't put a notorious rapist or serial rapist out in a society, out in a community where there are a lot of young women, and don't put a check on that rapist. Before you know it, 10 women will be raped in a minute. So this is how you do things. You need to. Champagne is involved in some kind of nonsense. He did some time in prison. You put a check on Champagne when he's released. We monitor him. Yeah, that's how it's done. He doesn't know you're checking him out, but we put a tag on Champagne. So Champagne is walking around and we have his every move. His every move. So we know where he's at all times. And anytime he slips, we have him. This is how you do it. So that's a little bit of information from myself to the police. These guys are notorious. They've been in prison several times. Positivity is not their MO. They want to hurt people and destroy lives. So we got to monitor these people. All right. So just once again, congratulations to all the beautiful people that were involved in this, forms of actions to make sure that down there in VA4 that there has not been a single report of a homicide. That's beautiful stuff. All right, so I told you that we were going to delve down into the government's first 100 days and the accomplishments and the achievements, what they have been able to do in 100 days. And this is monitored worldwide, boy. Once an administration gets into office, there's a 100 days monitoring, so to speak, and especially from the opposition sides of every opposition party in the world. So they bring about 100 days and they monitor this. So I want to start off here with security and law enforcement. This is big because our country, a couple of years back, even still for now, we have had a lot of issues with national security, regards to safety, gun violence, and all this kinds of stuff. And our country was ravaged with this. So the government stepped in, and it was the opening of an administrative block of the Northern Division Police Headquarters. And it says here also added 96 recruits to the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, open of a new court to address delays in the justice system. So firstly, when I saw this police headquarters being built, I could not believe it was a police headquarters. I thought somebody was building a hotel because it's huge. It's a huge facility. And I think it's well-deserving because there are over 30,000 people that resides up in the Grosley area. Over 30,000. There's a lot of people. You could literally call this a city in a small country like this. So you could basically say Grosley and its surroundings or its environment is in itself a city. It has not been, acknowledged as that, but I think they need to turn that entire area from the Rodney Bay area all the way Grosley, Capested, and all this area. It should have been a city by now. It has everything that a city has to have. Now with this brand new police headquarters that would accommodate police officers, and they have the gymnasium in there. There's all the different things that is needed for law enforcement up there. So that is indeed a positive for the North especially, but for all of St. Lucia, but for the North in particular, that you have this huge police headquarters where the police officers could go in there and bring about their duties in the most comfortable way, as they did. I remember the police officers had that Grosley police station down in the town of Grosley, and they'd been moved from here to there to there to there. Now today they have a proper headquarters where they could settle down and make sure that they go about their duties in a more professional way. So that's a positive for one. And then now it also speaks about the 96 recruits. Now, that's young police officers, both male and female. Bravo to that. But for me, I would have taken a small portion of that 96 recruit and have them trained specifically in conducting road activities or road safety within the police department. Well, there's a traffic department. So I'd probably utilize 40 out of that 96. And their job would be specifically or primarily for road safety, to monitor our roads, because our roads, it is indeed a mess. So I would have those 40 persons on training. If I have to send them overseas to monitor for road safety trainings, I would do that. Send them to England, the United States, wherever. It's going to be a bill on the government, but it is a bill that is well necessary. Because what is going on our roads is something out of a movie. And I see it all the time. I speak about it all the time on my morning program. So 40 of those 96 recruits, I would have brought them in a special unit for road safety to monitor. I would have them to train in motorcycle riding, in car patrol, in shooting, because they should have power of arrest and everything. And I would have 40 of those new recruits. Their job descriptions would be specifically for monitoring the roads of St. Lucia, not some roads, all of the roads, West Coast, East Coast, Northern Division, everywhere of our country, because what is happening on our roads is insane. So the recruits are okay, it's a positive to bring in new personnel into the police department, because every year people go on retirement, and then you need to bring in new people into the police force, to continue this great work that the police officers do. And they are indeed doing some good stuff. Yes, maybe one or two naughty ones every once in a little while, you get that. But I think all around our police officers are doing a great job with whatever resources that they do have. So bravo to them. But for me, I would have brought in a special unit. And I would give them a name, Island Troopers or Island something, or country, whatever, Island something. But we do need a special unit to monitor our roads with speed guns, with breathalyzers, so drunk drivers, people that drink and drive, and once they get over the limit, there's no joking. The police, those special officers would take these people in, have these people going to prison for the night, and then whatever court case has to happen after that, that's on them. We can't have people driving around drunk, killing innocent people, running into innocent people. And I saw the Prime Minister, and I saw his disgust. I heard him on Monday at that cabinet briefing, and he was not pleased, because his life is in danger as well. His life is in danger because a drunk driver, some guy with a container truck, drunk, could run into his vehicle. Even if he thinks he's safe, he has his driver and everything else, security. A drunk driver has, boy, no remorse. He's going to crash into a vehicle, an oncoming vehicle, and you're dead. You're dead. So he was disgusted. I am disgusted. I've been saying this for years, that there needs to be a special unit on monitoring our roads. And the more I speak about it, I'm not seeing anything. I drive down to VF all the time. You could barely see a police, let alone a police vehicle. So I don't know what the problem is, but we could bring about a positive, because this program is about positivity, and put in a special team, a special unit out of the 96. You need to blend in one or two experienced people, not just all of the 40 recruits. They have to have experienced traffic officers with them to nurture them. Send some on training, you send a batch on training, then you send another batch on. And then before you know it, in 1 year, 2 years, we have a full slate of personnel monitoring our roads, preventing innocent people from losing their lives. And not just the people losing their lives, not just the fatal crashes, The ones that people lose their limbs, people lose their leg, people have broken arms, they lose a finger, they lose a toe, they're unable to work, and then it's classified as an accident, no court. And then you have a family member that is very dependent on you now, someone that was willing and able, up and running, working, and all of a sudden, that individual has become a cripple, so to speak. And you as a husband or a wife or a father or mother or whatever has to take care of an individual that was up and about, all because of some idiot driving drunk, not paying attention on the road, driving recklessly, excessively on the roads. For what reason? They don't know. And we're continuing to see this happening on our roads. People, family members are just losing children, fathers, mothers. This ought not to be, not in a small society like this. So the Prime Minister one time said, all of us need to help in terms of ideas. This is one for me. We need to bring about a special unit on our roads, road safety, monitor all of the roads, not some oil. Now, I know how our people are. When the police are deployed, when they're put out there with all their equipment, it's going to die down for a little bit, and then the police might get bored. They'll probably say, oh boy, there's nobody, we're not catching anybody, nobody not driving recklessly. This is your department, this is your job. Even if it gets bored, if you get bored, if it gets boring, you still stay on the job. This is what you're put there for, because as soon as you turn your back, they're back to their bad habits. Back to their bad habits. So this should be a special unit with a special inspector or special whoever you want to call him, whatever title you want to give him. And this is your job. This is this unit's job to monitor our roads. Raining, sunny, whatever time of the day, officers are out there monitoring our streets. Like tonight, I know there are already drunk drivers on the roads. Already. And you never know, one or two might crash into someone, God forbid. So we need to monitor this and put in a special unit. So in regards to the enforcement, the police, brand new police headquarters is just remarkable. This is great stuff for St. Lucia. So now if something happens in the north, at least some people, someone could go in there, make a report, get assistance from the police. I don't know how rapid the response is. I have not gotten word on that. If you have a 911 call in there, I think maybe they should have, I know is it a 911? I think it is indeed the 911. And I think it's rapid because one time I called the police. I don't remember exactly for what reason, but I called the police at night and I got a rapid response. Well, in regards to the call, someone was on the line in a few seconds and I was asked to hold on and they had transferred me. As a matter of fact, the call went to the Grosley police station and then I was transferred to the city department. And then I don't remember what it was, but I think the response was very good. And so I'm hoping that now there are more technology in there with that new headquarters and persons in the area of Grosley, if they call in for police assistance, that the response would be rapid enough that everybody would be satisfied. That is something I must, try to have a little conversation with the commander up there or the inspector, see how. I've not I never went up in that area. As soon as from the time it's opened up, it's doors, but I saw the opening ceremony on television. So that is great stuff. Great stuff. And they're also saying that the Royal St. Lucia Police Force, they acquired 2 brand new electric vehicles. Yes, that's in there. 2 brand new electric vehicles. I don't know what their duties are, what if they are for patrolling, if they are for rapid response. I don't know what they're used for, but it states here that there are 2 brand new electric vehicles. I have not seen them on the road. I don't know. Maybe they pass by. I go right by them and I don't realize that's what these vehicles are, but they are indeed 2 brand new electric vehicles. What are their duties? I don't know. I don't know if they're for patrol, if they're for rapid response, if they're for administration. I don't know what they are, but that is also great stuff. So all in all, for security, And we saw the police officers on jet skis. Well, that was not this year. They have gotten jet skis from way back then. And some people, when the jet skis were introduced, there were a lot of, a lot of controversy and a lot of talk. But jet skis, the police officers could actually use jet skis because crime happened on the sea. Crimes happen on the sea. There's a lot of stuff that goes on the sea. Not only on land, you have criminal activity or criminal behavior. So crime actually happens on the sea. So the police officers could get get a call, and they have to use those jet skis to get involved with that criminal activity that's happening, maybe at the Rodney Bay, maybe somewhere down in Marigot, and they could use those jet skis. So that is indeed great stuff. Great stuff. And I also heard that those jet skis were purchased with the CIP funds. Okay, so while there's a lot of talk about CIP, CIP has used a lot of its monies in regards to helping a lot of stuff that goes on in this country. So one of these days, I'm going to have a report on CIP, not in regards to how many passports were sold. That's not my fault. That's not what I'm talking about. In regard to how beneficial CIP has been to this country and the financing of CIP in the various things that it has been able to bring about in St. Lucia. All right, so just based on that, and then the new courthouse, brand new courthouse that opened up its doors up there, right there at Vide-Bouteille, in terms of backlog on cases, court cases. The people have been in there, awaiting their trials for about, I'm hearing, 6 years as a result of courthouses and, back cases and all that kinds of stuff. So the brand new courthouse opened up its doors, I think that was sometime last week. And that is going to, give a little bit of speed in regards to court cases. So in terms of law enforcement and, stuff, the judicial department, I think that is great vibes, great stuff. I'm waiting to see when we get that House of Justice up and running, if all of those courthouses, if all of those places will be just under one roof at the House of Justice. But that's one of the shows. But that is indeed a positive for the opening of the brand new courthouse. All right, so we move on. Let's move on to culture. And we're speaking about the government's achievements in the first 100 days of the last general elections. And we have a culture national recognition. All right, it says launching of the commemorative stamp honoring Junior and Alfred. Now that is indeed cultural. So I don't know too many people write letters anymore, but I believe a lot of people still do use stamps for various reasons. Lawyers, offices, blah, blah, blah. People still use stamps. And it is indeed beautiful to see that our beautiful star, our beautiful lady, our Olympian, Julian Alfred, is now, her face is on one of St. Lucia's. This is indeed an honor. It's $25 stamp. Yeah, it's not a cheap stamp. It's $25. Now, some people would just buy the stamp even if they don't have anything to do with it, just for memorabilia. You could buy a couple stamps with Julian Alfred, and I think it is indeed something I should do. Just buy me a stamp, a $25 stamp, for memorabilia. You never know in the future. That stamp it's an investment. That stamp could worth some money. Oh yeah, this is an Olympic champion. So it may not be as much valuable for me today. What about my grandkids in the next 50 years? They do have a stamp that says Julian Alfred, St. Lucia's 2024 Olympic 100-meter champion. Have anybody ever thought about that? You're not going to you're not going to get any returns on it, but your great grandchildren will. So you purchase 4 of those stamps, it's just $100, and you leave them there. Put them in a safe place. Put them in if you have a safety deposit box at the bank. This is money right there in 50 years. This is money right there in 50 years. I could tell you that. And even if you don't have it for that reason, you have it as memorabilia. Just to remember that Julian Alfred was a superstar, an Olympian, 100-meter champion, an Olympic gold medalist. So that was beautiful for the government to recognize that beautiful lady. Just super stuff, just beautiful stuff. I've always tried, I've never met Julian Alfred, and I've said I'm wishing to meet her one of these days. I would love to have a program with her if she would allow me to have a program with her so we could speak. You know, she just ran a race there last week and she got a bronze. She came in third. So she's still there. Still, she's been on this thing from 2018 and she's still there with some speed. And I know every time we would like to hear her win a gold medal and she come first. But remember, there are always other athletes that are trying to beat the top and they'll do anything in their power to be on top. This is what the world is about. So let's pray for our Julian Alfred. Let's hope that she has give us some more speed. So in 2020, what's the next Olympics? 2028. In 2028, we'll have a repeat of the gold medal. No, don't worry. She came third. Yeah, people train for various reasons. They train for various events. And she knows that she will be the defending champion. So you know she's going to put her all into the training when 2028 comes around. So let's pray for her. But this is indeed beautiful stuff. And it's great for the recognition by the authorities, the Ministry of Culture, to recognize this beautiful, beautiful Julian Alfred, to have that stamp. You know what? When I get me, I'll buy me 4 stamps. This is serious. I'm going to put it there for safekeeping. And my grandkids and great-grandkids, one day, I'm telling you, that will have returns on it. It will have returns on it. Yes, I'm telling you, 20 years, 30, 40, 50 years, I probably will not be around in 50 years. But my grandkids and great-grandkids, you could leave this behind. And then one day there'll be an auction of Julian Alfred's stamp, or all of Julian Alfred's material, shoes, socks, shirt, whatever. One of Michael Jordan's shoes went for $13 million. One of his shoes, $13 million. And these things go up on auctions all the time. So in 50 years, this is going to worth some money. And your granddaughter, your grandson, or your great-grandson, or your great-great-great-grandson will say, my daddy purchased 4 of those stamps. And today, here I am getting some returns on it. I am getting a few $1,000s for Julian Alfred stamp. Remember, I told you so. So just great, beautiful stuff. And, you know, this is good stuff to see that an authority, a government, is acknowledging people, local people, our beautiful people that they don't just go on unnoticed. Everyone is noticed, and everyone should be taken care of in that regard. All right. It says, expanded the St. Lucia Jazz Festival to new communities. This is also culture. So the Jazz Festival, I don't have to give you the history of it. You know where it came from, when it started, and it continued to grow and grow and grow. And it has expanded. It has gone in various communities. Well, I want to have a jazz festival, a jazz show at Bagatelle. And I don't know where we're going to get the space for it because we're up there on the hillside, we're in the mountains. But it would be nice to have a jazz show when we have our Human Resource Center all finished. We could have a jazz. Listen to me. It's not far-fetched. This is possible. Jazz at Bagatelle. Sounds good. Jazz at Bagatelle. Sounds good, boy. And I know we could put that thing together and have a beautiful jazz show up there at Bagatelle. So while the government is extending and going out to various communities, I'm putting a pledge tonight that after the finish or the completion of the Bagatelle Human Resource Center, which is going to be huge and beautiful, we are requesting ahead of time, well, I am requesting ahead of time, that we do get a jazz show at Bagatelle. All right, Mr. Minister, Mr. Hilaire, putting in a request, maybe around somewhere 2027, 2028, maybe. We get a jazz show up in Bagatelle at our brand new Human Resource Center. And talking about Human Resource Center, I was listening to the presentation of the member for Soufrière François Jacques, Ms. Hippolyte. And I was surprised to hear that she's saying all of Sufred does not have a human resource center. And I was smiling because we are having one in Bakatel. And I remember a few months ago, a few weeks ago, I said that not everywhere, not every community or constituency has a human resource center. And here it is that Sufred that has been on the map for all these years, they do not have a human resource center. If you fought south, they do not have a human resource center. All of the people of Bakatel, including myself, all of us should be very proud. And we can brag. Yes, we can. We can brag that our human resource center is under construction and it's going on pretty nicely. When I drive by, sometimes I stop, take a peek. It's going on beautiful, very nicely. Based on what I'm seeing, maybe we're looking at maybe the end of the year, maybe into next year, middle of next year, maybe. I didn't ask anybody about it. One of these days I have an interview with the contractor and I'll give you some more details on that. But I was really, really proud when not proud for people of Soufrière. I was not shocked either because I know Vieux Fort South does not have a human resource center. But I did know that Soufrière did not have one. So that told me, boy, look at that. An entire constituency, they don't have a human resource center. And we're getting one in the community of Bakatel. You must ring the bell for stuff like that. That requires the bell, and we owe it to none other than the parliamentary rep. I've gotten a lot of blows for that. Champagne, c'est Pierre Papa, by ça. Et café à présent, because nous n'avons human resource center qui venu. And an idée, constituency, pas community. Hein? There are two constituencies. Maybe there's another one. I don't know. But I know for sure there are two constituencies, not communities, that are not blessed with a human resource center. And we as a small community, we have a lot of people, but we're up on the mountains, but we're in the hills. But we're able to get one. One is under construction, and it's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be utilized by the people of Bakatel. Isn't that beautiful? So I heard the member, I listened to her contribution, and that was something that I was listening, and I was smiling. And my smile was because all of Soufrière doesn't have a human resource center, and our beautiful community in Bakatel, we do have a human resource center under construction. And speaking about Bakatel, that other portion of road that I spoke of last Friday that had not been paved, well, I got good news for you, those of you that have not used it as a result. With all the dust and everything, my goodness, you should see this road. You don't even hear the vehicles. Now, this is not an exaggeration. This is serious. From my home, I'm not too far from the road. So you could hear the vehicles when they go by. But from the time this carpet had been laid in, you don't hear them. And this is not an exaggeration. This is an actual truth. You don't hear the vehicles unless if somebody is really revving really loud. But the vehicles, you don't hear. And the volume of traffic, my goodness, on the morning and all through the day, hundreds. Today they were doing the last piece that they had started all the way to the top. And I think it's completed because the road is open again. So for all of St. Lucia, let me report to you that the Bakatel Road is a carpet, beautifully paved, widened in some areas, drains, culverts, dog bones, that is those stuff you put over the drain, in most of the area. So all of this congestion we had because as a result of the drains, and motorists are afraid to, go down into the drains, that is no more because all of those drains are covered. Boy, that deserves the bell again. We have to ring the bell. You see, the kind of guy I am, I love beautiful stuff. I love nice things, and I like to see progress. And when I've suffered so much as a result of I don't live on the roadside. I walk maybe about 2 minutes in. So my vehicle is parked by the road. My daughter's vehicle is parked by the road. And every single motor vehicle owner in the Bakatel area have had their mirrors ripped off, their fenders, they've had scratches, they have had major accidents from trucks in the middle of the night. People rip off your mirrors. You don't know. You get up in the morning, you see your whole side of your vehicle is scratched up. There's nothing you could do because no one saw anybody. All because of the drain. And I have to go back into history. This is the drain I spoke about. And I took a lot of fire for it. But today, I want to be by the roadside, and all of the people that gave me all the heat for that same drain, I want to welcome them and tell them, thank you for driving over the drain. Not to be sarcastic, in a friendly way. We are happy that you are able to drive over the same drain that you called me all kinds of names for. So as a result of the drain, the road has gotten itself, well, the drain is really supposed to be a sidewalk, but sometimes when you have a congestion, motorists utilizes the drain, that space, to open up and to give the traffic a free flow or an easier flow. We don't have all that mayhem we used to have for half an hour. The traffic is backed up. People are swearing at each other. Bus drivers are stuck. Kids are trying to get. We don't have that anymore. And we owe it to the parliamentary rep. Yes, indeed. For this beautiful road rehabilitation that happened. Now we're looking for markings now. They're not all. I don't know if the markings are part of the project. And if it's not, we're asking for markings. There were a couple speed bumps that were put in before the road were conducted, before they demolished or graded the road. So we're asking to have those speed bumps put back in, because already you should see the way, especially the motorcyclists, the way they fly up that road, because it's all nice and smooth. And we don't want to have any of our kids getting hit by a motorcyclist or big truck or car or whatever vehicle that goes up there. So it would be nice if we could get some of our speed bumps put back in on the market. So that is that for now. So the road is 90% complete in regards to the paving, and they were up there today. So I'm certain that it is 100% complete. It's just beautiful. There's a little hiccup down by the police station area. I don't know if they have to go back over that part again. So I'm hoping there's a little hiccup there. But outside of that, it is beautiful. And when I go home and I park down the hill and I get to the top of where I'm going to my lane, and I look down and you see this beautiful black stretched, beautiful road and makes that curve. It's just wonderful stuff. Just beautiful stuff. Really, really. And I know it's been appreciated not just by the members or the residents. It has been appreciated by all the people that use that road. All the people that use that road. On a morning, it's an easy access to catch trees. You never stop. There's never a delay. You continue to move because the road has been widened a little bit. There's not that problem with the drains. The drain was the problem. There's no more drains. The drains are there, but they're covered with those dog bones, and they're just beautiful. So great stuff, great stuff. So I must say, commend the parliamentary rep. Thank you, sir, because I'm not saying that my vehicle probably might not get scratched, God forbid, but the risk of it getting scratched now is a little less, because motorists will access that same drain that you're going to make. We have Anyway, all right, let's move on. So the Jazz Festival, I put out a request for maybe Jazz 2028 after our Human Resource Center is completed. Maybe we could have a small jazz something up in Bacatel. Jazz at Bacatel. And God willing, I will be there. God willing. It would be nice to see that, wouldn't it? Sure, certainly would. All right. And it says economic development and maritime affairs. Let's see what I have on that. Let's see what it says. They established the first ever St. Lucia Chamber of Shipping. As the rest it's saying there. Shipping what? I'm trying to open it up. Shipping waterfront. Okay, I hope I got that right. All right, it says the commence port development works, that's the other one, at I got something blocking here. Okay, the Soufriere waterfront. Commence port development works on the Soufriere waterfront. I guess that has to do with the GPH. And before that, it says establish the first ever St. Lucia Chamber of Shipping, whatever that is. I don't know what that is. Maybe a group of maybe people together. I don't know. Put that it's in the economic aspect of things. And in regards to the wharf down there in Soufriere, I think work has started. It says commencement, so that means work has started down there in Soufriere on that dock. So that is that for culture and national recognition. Let's move on to education here. And I'm here speaking tonight on the achievements, the first 100 days of the government after the last general election, 2025. All right, it says here in education, completed works on the Monrepo Patience Combined Center. It didn't say commencement of works, it said completed work, meaning that this is finished. On the Monrepo Patience Combined School. Now, I know the area very well, but I have not been down there to see in a little bit, to see, I probably might stop by just to see how beautiful the works went or how beautiful the school is. So that is indeed good stuff. It says commencement work on Binfield Comprehensive Secondary School. That's over there. It says Binfield, but Larry Shoes area at the comprehensive school. This one is commencement. This one is not completion. So they started on this one, doing some work on that one on the the Binfield Comprehensive Secondary School. So that is down there in V4. All right. Sports and community development. Constructed a new tennis court in Dennery South. Boy, where is that, boy? In Dennery South. I wonder where that is. I didn't even know that was happening. They're constructing, or they have constructed, a new tennis court in Dennery South. So the people of Dennery now, boy, will be bringing about a new sports, a new talent into playing tennis. So that is good vibes, good stuff. I'm going to try to see exactly where that is on my way. That's my way. That's on my way. So I'll try to see what that looks like. It should be good. All right, commencement rehabilitation works on the Dennery playing field. Which one? Because there's a lot of playing fields at Dennery. And I don't know if this is the one in the Dennery village itself, because I remember some lights were put in on this one, and there's a beautiful stand for, people that want to go out there and watch a football game or a cricket game. They put in a nice stand there. So it says they commenced rehabilitation work on the Dennery playing field. All right. Establish the community outreach program facilitated by the CDF, not CDB, CDF. So it reads, establish the community outreach program facilitated by the CDF. All right, so that's that for education. We move on to health. Remember, we have 9 o'clock. We have gone by 1 hour into the program. We're going up until 10 o'clock. And the program is primarily based on positivity, stuff that is happening in a positive light to our beautiful land. And I come here and I let you know, because some people don't always catch the news. And even if they do catch it on the news, it's not elaborated on. So what's my job? I'm the enforcer. You know what I mean? I'm the enforcer. So we get some information, it comes out on the news, but I come here and we discuss it. You understand? I'm the enforcer. So we bring it about in a nice way. It's not about, that's why I don't speak too much about homicides. I spoke about the V4 one, but that one was in a good light. This is about positiveness. This is not about bacchanal. No, this is not about bacchanal. All right, so health. It says launch the St. Lucia Universal Health Coverage name, logo, and website. So there's going to be well, there was a launch of a coverage named Logo and Website. So there it is. I think the minister is there with the prime minister. He said St. Lucia Universal Health Coverage. So there's going to be a logo. I think the logo is there. It looks like the pitons with the sun peeking through, and there's some kind of a design between the two peaks. So this is the logo, and there's a cross. If I could make it out properly, it has a blue cross with it, and that's the logo I'm speaking of. Yeah, that's what it looks like. So it has that logo. And then there's the website on there. They didn't give me details on the website, but it made mention of the website, the logo and the website. All right. So it says installed state-of-the-art equipment in the newly established dental clinic at Larry Shoes Health and Wellness Center. Let me read that again. It's apparently dental equipment was installed. So it reads installed state-of-the-art equipment in the newly established dental clinic at Larry Shoes Health and Wellness Center. Now there are two Larry Shoes, isn't there? Is there not two Larry Shoes? There's a Larry Shoes in Dennery, and I think there's another Larry Shoes down there in VA4. Now, I don't think the Larry Shoes at VA4 has a wellness center. So that leads me to believe that this is the Larry Shoes at Dennery or in the Valley. I hope I'm right on that. But they're saying that they put a state-of-the-art dental clinic. That is good stuff because some people really need to take care of their teeth, their breath. Because a lot of people do brush, and it's as if they didn't brush at all. Yeah, and the embarrassment is yours because you don't want to make them feel so uncomfortable, but you're trying to get the hell out of there. Now, a lot of people don't even understand gum disease and gingivitis, and all of those could bring a little stench on your breath. Even if you use Listerine. A lot of people use Listerine, in my mind, the wrong way. If you're going to use Listerine, you need to bear the pain. So you brush with it. You don't just shake Listerine and spit it out. No. You put your toothpaste on your toothbrush. You use that Listerine, leave it in your mouth, and brush with it. You don't just poop, 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 and spit out. No, that Listerine is not going to get in every corner. You have to try to maintain that pain, or it's not a pain, just a little something, a little feast that's in your mouth. I mean, you're a big boy, you could handle that. So brush with, instead of using water, brush with the Listerine in your mouth. Brush and brush everywhere. So that Listerine now, or that mouthwash, will be able to go in every corner, and that may help some. It may help. And if you, I'm not a dentist. If you realize that when you brush, you have blood coming out of that brush, there's something you probably developing some gingivitis. You have gum disease. You need to get yourself checked. So that right there is positive stuff. This right there is positive. And for those people listening to me, if you realize there's some blood when you brush your teeth, it's not the toothbrush cutting your gums. No, you're coming about with gingivitis or some form of gum disease. So head on over there. They just put in some brand new stuff at the Larry Shoes Wellness Center, especially in the dental department. To go in there and explain to the dentist, say, you know what, I brushed and I see there's some blood coming out, so help me out with that. And because of that brand new equipment, they give you some help. So let's do this. Great stuff. Great stuff. Beautiful stuff. All right, so that's that. And it says here, rehabilitation on the Foaso Wellness Center in January 2026. So that has started. They're doing some work, some rehabilitation work down there at Foaso at the Wellness Center. So they're putting some stuff together. That's in the health department. That's all of it in 100 days. And we're speaking of 100 days. We're not speaking of the full 5-year term. And they've given you a comprehensive aspect of what has gone on in some of the departments. All right, let's move on. So where are we now? We are down to social relief and public support. And that one reads, remove tax for pensioners. You want me to read that again? The removal of tax for pensioners. Se moun nan ki garanti l'argent yo ka tax li ya. Yo pa tax li encore. So si vous débouez $700, ou ka tout $700, yo bani one something yo ka pon en lay. Ou ka avi yo ka 5 something. Ka jwen tout $700. La ban tax nan leti dollar encore. Removed tax for pensioners. Great stuff. Beautiful stuff. It says here, increase allowable deductions from 30,000 to 40,000. Increase allowable deductions from 30,000 to 40,000. Implemented the first ever VAT-free shopping day. Boy, a lot of people saw that. That came right after the elections. I think that was a couple of days before Christmas. And while some people may think that they did not benefit, a lot of people did, because a lot of people bought some stuff. The people took full advantage. So you do a little bit of shopping and you figure out you still got something, but you got $12, $12.50 on every $100, especially at Christmas time. So if you spend $500, that's 12 times 550. That's 60. You're about up almost $80. You got back almost $80. That $80 you could have bought something else with it. And for the big shoppers, those with all of those, well, there's some items on. They save some money. So that VAT-free day, some people save some money. And it reads there, pay $500 bonus to public sector workers. Now, this is the one. I have spoken about this one. This is just beautiful stuff. But what about us in the tourism sector? Is it because there are too many of us? We are the backbones of the backbone of this economy. All of us, and I spoke about that this morning in regards to the tremendous job we do, from inviting our visitors on the island, welcoming them, taking care of them, especially the taxi drivers. Have to drive them on huge coasters, 30 people, 20 people, and there's the lonesome driver. He doesn't have a co-driver, just him. He has to make sure his eyes are on the road, and drive these people to the airports and to the various hotels safely. That is a lot of courage right there. And all the other taxi drivers, myself, that have to continue to speak all day, welcoming our people. Thank you for coming to St. Lucia. We're hoping that you come back. When they ask you the questions, you have to know what to say. What is the favorite meal on the island? Where is the best place to go? What is this? What is that? We are the backbone. We are the enforcers of tourism. All the people that are involved in the tourism sector. All, not some, all. Tour guides, tour operators, sky cabs, taxi drivers, airline employees, hotel workers, every single individual. We are the drivers of this economy. And we're not jealous that the private sector, the public sector workers, government workers get their $500. We're not asking for $500. Give us a little something. Maybe a little acknowledgement sometimes would go a long way, especially for the taxi drivers. I'm not even putting myself in the equation now. But when you say a guy has to drive a coaster from the Royalton, which is far north, and has to drive by himself, all alone, just him, has 30 lives. with luggage. It has to go down there in this road, these corners. This is commendable stuff. This guy has to be acknowledged. Has to be. And, you know, we take it for granted. Oh, monsieur ka fait travail, man. Et travail, monsieur ka pay pour ça. No, brother. Yes, he's getting his pay. Well deserving as well. But what about the little acknowledgement that he had 30 people to make sure that they got to the destination safely? Not just a bus driver, because what about the ordinary taxi man who has 2 passengers with him? And he's trying to stay focused, but they're distracting. No, not distracting. They're speaking to him. Where are we? What side are we? When are we going to get to? How far is it? When can we stop to get a drink? Let me say something. The people, we that are involved in the tourism industry, we are doing a great job. A great job, because this is keeping our country, bringing a level of the economic benefits to everybody. While the police officers, the nurses, doctors, teachers, and everybody has to play their part, their salaries, 80% of it comes from tourism. This is why it says tourism is all of us, all of our business. So not because you're a principal of a school and you're not saying hello to a tourist. Those of us that are saying hello to the tourists and welcome, your salary comes from there. Comes from there. Me pushing my little bags that got bien when we pre-assoir, l'argent qu'a sorti. Because I have to make sure I speak to them nicely. Welcome. Thank you for coming to St. Lucia. Tell your friends to come again. Encourage your friends to come to St. Lucia, and they say, I will. We will be back. That's coming from us, those of us in the tourism sector. And you in your mighty office, doctors, nurses, we respect your profession. And we love you, because not everybody could do the same job. But your salary, 80% of it comes from the tourism industry or the tourism sector. That is where it comes from, not in FIG. There's no more FIG. No more FIG. But a little bit of acknowledgement would be nice. I know the Prime Minister will not be able to give the $25,000 plus maybe $500. You're talking that's a lot of money. That's maybe the entire budget. Maybe. I'm just exaggerating. It's going to amount to a few $1 million, a lot of millions. So we'll not be able to go on. I don't think they'll be able to give every individual that's a part of the tourism sector. But a little acknowledgement every once in a little while can go a long way. When you say at those events, we would like to thank our taxi drivers for taking care of our visitors as they drive them to the various hotels, the various airports. I think a taxi driver hearing this would feel honored, wouldn't he? Absolutely, he would. He would feel honored, knowing that he's acknowledged. Somebody knows that he's doing something and for his country. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So this is great stuff. All right. So this bonus, we have no problems with it. Give your public servants, they deserve it. They work hard, they put things together. But at some point, give the driving force of this economy, those that are involved in the tourism sector, give them a little something to have. Not, maybe it doesn't have to be money. Give us a little acknowledgement, because they're not parling about that. Même si n'a parlé pour TUS, moi. They say, "Mon n'a pas de question then." You come do question then. In the 2 little minutes you have to carry bags to the various reps, they're asking you about 3 or 4 questions, one after the other. And if it's a group, everybody has a question. Is it going to rain today? So you make sure you listen to the weather report so you could have an answer. You know, how long is it if it's raining? Has it been raining all day? These are the questions you have to have answers for. And maybe you did not even pay attention that it was rain all day. You say, oh, yeah, sure. Sometimes it didn't rain at all. Just started to rain. So we, the ones involved in the tourism sector, we need a little recognition too. Okay? All right. Okay, so let's move on with this. Where are we? So we are dealing with the government first 100 days and have gone through various parts of the government ministries, the accomplishments and the achievements in the first 100 days. Now, you may ask, but Champion, why does it have to take you to do that? I decide to do it. This is my decision. This is not coming from any ministry. I have decided to do it on my own. I gather information and I come here and speak about it. Why? I think it's important for our country. You may label it as a politics, as a political program. It certainly is not. You may say, oh, Champion is speaking on behalf of the government. You could say that if you want, but the government of the day, they're the ones in office. So, and if they're the ones doing the stuff, I must talk about it. I have to. There's never such a program. I don't think there's been such a program. You see, because we're always about controversy. Alan saw, Pierre saw, Kenny saw this and that. And I had my involvement with it. I'm not going to deny. So because of my involvement in all of these dramatic events, so to speak, now I've decided to do something different. Yes. Our people is not supposed to be just bulldozed with only negativity and drama. Some of the people would like to know what is going on in their country. And this is why I think later on in the show, I will bring people there. I will invite people there to come and speak directly to the people of St. Lucia so they know what is happening in their beautiful land. No, you don't have any drama. There's time and place for everything. I took this on my own to do this show once a week, every Friday, to come out. And if there are projects that are going on, I go to the sites. If I could get an interview, I could do it, and I come here and play it out for the people. You don't have to only speak about Munyo Chwesa, Yoshut Baba, Yochwesa Allah. No. There must be a program of positivity. And I'm urging other announcers to do such a program. Have financial people on. Tell us how to make money. You know what I mean? Have young people to become entrepreneurs, to just do good stuff. Have doctors tell us about our health. And Miss Belma, not Miss Belma, what's this other lady named? The kidney doctor. I had a report, she made a report on World Kidney Day. Let us know what, the things that we should and should not eat and drink. It's going to affect our kidneys and our lungs and our heart and all this kinds of stuff. We need such programs. It's not always about calling a program called Jiwe Minister, Jiwe Opposition Leader, Jiwe Sa. You're not going to grow that way. And I must say I have been involved with it. This is why I've decided to do something different. And you may say it's about the government, fine, that's all right. But I have to speak on it. If the government of the day are the ones putting those programs together, why not? I don't have a problem acknowledging the minister and the prime minister if they're doing something great for the country. I have no difficulty doing that, my friend. And I will ring the bell to whatever positiveness or positivity that comes out. That's the way this program is. This is what it is. Wow, we have 22 minutes after the hour. So we're going up until 10 o'clock. All right, let's go to public utilities. And it reads, secured funding for water infrastructure upgrade island-wide. Island-wide. Now, we have heard the term all through our lives, water is life. No project, none, could be paramount outside of water. None. Water has to be number one. Without water, there are no living souls. Everybody's dead. That's a fact. And this reads here, secure funding for water infrastructure upgrades island-wide. So monies are going to be put aside. It says secure funding. Make sure that this water crisis and problem, and it has been a problem for a while, there's going to be some money that's going to be put aside. Take care of that. Now, I just read this. People are listening. It says island-wide. The good thing about this is the Prime Minister, a couple of weeks ago at the House of Parliament, he spoke and he said, this is not going to be a quick fix. Now, this is how you speak. It's like saying to your son that you're going to buy him a bicycle, but you didn't tell him when. So every day your son is going to tell you, Daddy, what about the bike? What about the bike? What about the bicycle? And he's going to start to be an annoyance. But if you said to your son, Daddy's going to buy you a bicycle for Christmas, but we're in March. Daddy's going to buy you a bicycle for Christmas, which is December. You don't have an annoyance. He's not going to be ringing it in your ears in June, July, August, September. No, because you have already said to your son, Daddy's going to buy you a bicycle in December. But when December gets there, don't say something else, because you've waited for 9 months. So the Prime Minister said that this is not going to be a quick fix. You're going to get that money and put the infrastructure together. And I think he even went on saying it's going to be something where we're looking at 2 years max. That's a long time. So we have to be patient and wait. Now the people are going to hold the Prime Minister to his word. That he said, give him some time, but he's going to get this. He's going to do this. So you have already given us that assurance that this is going to be fixed, but you need time. So the people of the country will give you them. This is how you speak with confidence. You say to the people, I will not do it tomorrow. It's going to require some time. So the people in their minds already, so when there's no water as a result of the construction or the rehabilitation, people will already remember, okay, Prime Minister, they had that baitan. And if some neighbor is talking some nonsense, the other neighbor say, "Me pe jelu la batan Prime Minister do you buy your top you pay ça." Il dit ça. Il dit ça te ba yon jou ça ra point pour yon fay. Pas attendre de 12 ça. That's how you put things together. But when you don't say anything, everybody's expecting tomorrow. So that was great stuff. All right, let's continue. What do we have here? And it's still in public utilities. It says install street lights in Tumac, Soise. Now, I don't know where Tumac is. Or Tumac. It spells T-R-O-U-M-A-R. Says install street lights in Tumac. Boy, I didn't even know St. Lucia still had places where there were no street lights. I didn't even believe that. So this one is indeed a positive. Now, I don't know where Tumac is. And shows that maybe I've been there, but I don't know that's the name of the place. So Tumac, Mama is on Tumac. You got me light la. West. So as a band sepan, so band pour we lot. Because she man West there. Because Mark West, Mark you did to batun sepan present. But just in case there's a rock in the road or maybe some animal and you may not be able to see it in the dark, they're going to get that misery out of the way because they're going to put some street lights there. So that is great stuff. Jean Toumac, ma have si light la alarm, you di may light la. So it said installed. So that means it's already there. So Jordani light la and Toumac, Soise. Okay? So bravo. Moi ça ring bella by so. Okay. Moi ga ring bella by. Bon moi call amun dem di moi ko Toumac ye. Because ma have si moi la moi have du en chay. Mais ma jamais tant non côté wa ko Toumac. Ma en Soise. So Masam Kusai. But go there Chutig. Like La Baba Mwensote. My dad originally was from Cedars. They call the place Cedars, the English name, but it's known as Chutig. My dad was from that area. So I have family members down there in Shrewsbury. I've met them though. More than once. I've been there a few times. All right. Agriculture, fisheries, and the environment. It reads, procured equipment to remove sarcasm seaweed in Praline. So they have procured equipment to remove sarcasm seaweed in Praline. Yeah, boy, that sarcasm seaweed has been a problem now for maybe 20 years or more. And it stinks really, really bad when it settles, when it dies off on the bay, especially down in Praline. So they're saying, the government is saying they have procured stuff, equipment to remove that kind of stuff there. That's going to be an ongoing project, brother, because that seaweed comes in all the time. So whoever is going to be working there, I think they have a job for life because you have a lifetime job because that seaweed is not stopping, brother. It continues to come in. Continues to come in. I heard that it affects the ocean life of the fishes and the lobsters and everything else because it's so much. And then the fishes, they could barely set their nets and everything. It has become a menace. The seaweed has become very troublesome. And the government is saying that they have procured stuff, they have put some stuff together to bring in about equipment to remove the sargassum seaweed down there in Praline in particular. Praline is where you have the most seaweed. There's some down in some area in Micoud, the Micoud fishing area. There's some there, and some down in Vieux-Fort, but Praline is, like we say, Praline takes the cake. There's a lot of seaweed there in Praline. All right, so let's see how that goes. All right, it says conducted the cattle relocation project at Shock. You must speak about those things because this was a problem. Cattle crossing or cows, and people have lost their lives there. Thank God I've never gotten an encounter. I got close to having an encounter with one of those cows, but I really did not hit it. I saw it late, but I got close. Other people have not been so lucky. Other people have lost, family members have lost loved ones, and motorists have spent a lot of money because they have run into some cows on that road at Shock. So the government came about an initiative and removed those cows. We have not seen them in a few weeks, but I have to ring the bell for that. Here's the thing, and people must always be cognizant about those things. You have to be aware. So previous administrations, including the Labour Party, because they were there when we had that problem. So previous administrations could not come about with doing something with this problem. This was indeed a problem. But this time, and this is what this program is about. This time something was done. Something was done. And I heard that it's by way of the Ministry of Agriculture. I have to ring the bell for the new minister in that regard. Okay? You could tell me it was there in the making, the initiative. I don't give a damn. I love the cutting of the ribbon. I really don't pay too much attention with the sword-turning ceremony because I've seen several sword-turning ceremonies. Another block was laid down. The cutting of the ribbon ceremony, that's the one I like. It tells me that something has been completed. It's ready for opening its doors. That's the one I like. So if the initiative was put together, bravo to whoever did it. But this young agriculture minister came in and this thing was done rapidly. There's not a cow in the Shock area for weeks now. Isn't that beautiful? This tells you that people are on their game, boy. People are doing stuff. They're not just talking. They're doing, this is the positive right here. Cows running around, people losing their lives, people losing windscreens, expense, thousands of dollars. You can't find the owner of the cow. The cow has owners. When nothing happens, as soon as a vehicle hits one, it doesn't have an owner. So you're left with the expense, thousands of dollars. Well, the minister said, this is no more. This is great stuff. You may see that as basic. I don't see that as basic. This is important because somebody else, it probably has saved lives. Somebody else probably would have run into one of those cows and lose their lives. So bravo for that. That is great stuff. So these cows have been relocated. I heard a couple of weeks ago, somebody was making fun of this. They said they send them down to VA4 or whatever. All right, so this is good stuff. My phone is not allowing me to open this thing properly. Still with agriculture, fisheries, and the environment. It's not opening for me. I don't know why I have it down there. All right, let's see if I get this one. It says, commence construction on the East Coast Fishers and Consumers Cooperative in Micoud North. Let me read that again. It says, commence construction on the East Coast Fishers and Consumers Cooperative in Micoud North. So the fishers are going to get something going on down there. You see, our society, there are a lot of people that look at certain professions and they turn their nose on it, not even realizing that every profession requires a human being, everyone. The janitors, fishers, farmers, whatever the case may be. Dogs don't go to sea. I've never seen a few dogs start a boat and go out to sea and come back with fish. No, that will never happen. You will never live to see that. But you see human beings do it. So why turn your nose? Because what? Because they go out to sea and they're fresh. They have fresh on them, blood and stuff, but that's their profession. When you see me at the airport with my cart, I'm all clean and I'm doing my job in a professional manner to the best of my ability and welcoming our visitors and saying goodbye to them as well when they leave. So you wanted to read, est-ce que à manger avec l'argent, là, est-ce que à manger, est-ce que à me le moi, est-ce que à payer bills moi kay moi. So we have to turn that corner and stop this nonsense about what people do. Every job, human beings are the ones that were supposed to be involved with every profession. You show great regard to a doctor. You show great regard to a lawyer. When it comes on to the ordinary man, the janitor, the garbage collector, they don't mean nothing. No, that's not the way life is supposed to be, my friend. Everybody is cut to do something, and everybody cannot be a doctor. It's impossible. The world would not be able to go around if everybody has the same profession. Cannot be. So when you see the fisher selling his fish and you see some blood on him, that's his profession. You can't see a fisher in a suit. So pourquoi il vient là cacher poisson en suit avec un taille, cacher poisson? You see, doesn't make sense. Just like you're not going to see an attorney head into court with fish blood all over himself and rags. No, an attorney has to be presentable, head into court. It comes with the territory, comes with the profession. This is how it is. The farmer has his boots and his cutlass all stained up with banana stains and whatever other stains. That's his work. He's at work. He's doing his job. So when you see the farmer, have some respect. Don't turn up your nose because he's a farmer and you have your suit on. You know, brother, you eating, your dinner table has food on it as a result of the farmer. You're having a nice piece of fish as a result of the fisher. Yes, you purchased it, but if it didn't go out to sea, how would you get it? We need to make that turn better. We have to make that turn and start to think positive. Stop turning up our nose on people for what they do. Not everybody could be a prime minister. There's only one prime minister. One. It's one police commissioner. One. Not two, not three. They may be acting, but there's one. So you come with your high heels and you come to buy your fish, and that's just what you do. You say hello to the fish, good afternoon. How much is your fish? Tells you. Can I get it cleaned? Yes. Clean it. And don't turn your nose because he's a fisher. You see blood all over him. That's his job. That's what he do. I go away my airport like Charlie, my point luggage, my pay, my. Because that's my job. That's what I do. I do it all the time. I continue to do it until I can't do it anymore. All right. So we have that here. It's cooperative in Miku North. And we have for the last one there, commence work on the V4 fishing complex. Now the V4 fishing complex, known as the pond, they need to do something about this place because I remember last year, saw it on the news that the hotel owners or the people down there at Coconut Bay had spent a huge sum of money to clean up that place, and you would not believe the amount of filth that came off that place. Truckloads of garbage. How did that come about? I mean, you have a facility, everything is put in there, you go out there, you conduct your business activities on a daily basis. And where is all that garbage coming from? This is your facility. The government is spending thousands of dollars on a complex for you to feel comfortable where you could go ahead and conduct your business. Why does it have to be that way? Why? Because this place is not supervised. I've been there. You see what goes on there. Again, this is what I just spoke about. It is not because that you're a fisher that you have to behave in a manner that is unrecognizable. You don't have to have a place, a dirty environment, a place that is not clean to operate in. And I've been there. I see what goes on there. So it's left unattended, so to speak. I don't think anybody oversees this place. So people do as they please. They destroy stuff. People sleep there. There's some areas, I think, where people are supposed to put their boat engine. It has become homes. People live there. They even bring their woman there. I think they sleep there overnight too. That's not supposed to be better. This is a facility that was put in place to conduct business for the fishers. Put in their engines, put in their nets, put in whatever. But now people are living there and destroying it at that. And then the government now has to spend millions now. Every time you have to spend money. See then? So the same people that destroy it now are wanting money to fix it. So it's just a money-making process. But what about maintaining the place? Now it has gone too far. It has too far gone if you put in two people now to oversee the place. Oh, Michi, where you got to take this out, especially that person is from an area that they're not from the VF. This is our problem. We don't appreciate stuff. Il a un tax, moi, man. A croisé ça, le gouvernement pour moi, ça. A croisé ça. This act of behavior, we have to stop it. And when you say the government come down there and they're rehabilitating those facilities, and you're saying, this is your money. And that money, that facility you just destroyed, and the government now have to fix it. This is monies that could have gone to something else in your community. But you're so dumb, you're not realizing that this money is not coming from the minister's pocket. It's your money. L'argent qu'il a. So, na croisé ça là en taxe, mais c'est là en taxe. So, ou ka croisé un corps. C'est ça ou ka fait. Let's be a little more responsible, man. Let's take care of stuff. Let's bring beauty. Let's bring beautiful things about in our land. We can do this. We can do this. It does not always have to be a fight and hatred. We can do this and make this place special. Coconut Bay, I saw it. Guys, the thing is in the range of $90,000 was spent in a cleaning campaign. Truckloads of filth, debris like crazy. I couldn't believe it. You would have thought it was a hurricane. It's an aftermath of a hurricane where debris was collected. Truckloads of, I don't even know what, I don't remember all the stuff. Truckloads. How is that possible? So I had a conversation with my work colleagues last week. You would not believe the guys tell me that the place is just back to the same thing with all the filth. Couldn't believe it. So it's la ville mess we are there. The people just spent $90,000 to clean the place up. It's back to the same thing. Same behavior. Different day. What can I say? Anyway, so that is that in regards to BA4. And that is public utilities and agriculture, fisheries, and the environment. The environment is very important. We got to take care of it. Can't just destroy it by filth and nonsense. We have to take care of it. And children see what they see is how they live, brother. Because if your kid see you peel a banana and just fling it in the drain, the kid will do the same thing. Give that same kid, excuse me, a banana. I'm giving you an assignment. Tomorrow, take 2 bananas and have your 5-year-old son sitting next to you. And you peel yours and ask him to peel his. And when you finish with your peel, just fling it in the drain. Your 5-year-old son will do the exact same thing. The exact same thing because he's following your lead. What you did, he's going to do the exact same thing. But if you take your peel and put it in a bin, you don't even have to tell your son to do that. He's going to follow you and he's going to do the exact same thing. Children do stuff. When they see stuff, they do the same thing that they see from the elders, from the parents, from the adults. So let's take care of the environment and let's have our kids growing up in a clean and safe environment. All right. We have a 9:45. The program is called Friday Nights with the Man Champagne, St. Lucia on the Move. And I gave it its title. I'm the narrator up here. And I'm the one who brought this about. And I'm hoping that this program will grow because I believe there's a lot of positivity that's heading its way to this country. I just could see it. I think there's a lot of positivity heading this way. Beautiful St. Lucia. All of us need to be involved with it. Can't leave it just for the members of Parliament. Yes, they're the ones to bring about the policies and bring about the money, but all of us has to be involved, my friend. We could do a lot of stuff. Today I went down into some friend of mine sent down a bag for one of his sisters, and his sister lived at Agard. And I went down there to drop off the bag. And I said, do you guys have a community development committee together? She said, yes, there's one. I said, but how come there's so much grass and everything, you could barely see the houses there in all of Agard? She said, we have a committee in place, but as a matter of fact, last week we had a meeting and they spoke about the place is filthy. It needs some attention. So I said, y'all are waiting for the step, in a sarcastic way. And she said, well, you're probably waiting for the step. But the step is not every week. Step program is not every week. Step program is how many times? 3-4 times for the year, 3 times for the most, I think. So your community now is filthy. It's plastic bottles all over the place. So you're going to continue to exist, to live in that manner, waiting for step. And the place looks ridiculously insane, very dirty. What about members of the community doing something? Well, if they cut the grass, there's no money because no step. But I still believe the government will give some monies to keep the communities clean. But in the meantime, members of the committee could get themselves together and come about with a cleanup campaign and get your community to be speak and span. Let me say this to you. Our Bakadal community, with our new road and everything else, there'll be a time when you come down through there. I could guarantee you that you would wish that you were living there. Because as me being involved, that community will not stay the way it is. Not with the infrastructure that has been put in now. We're going to do our best, and we have done it. I've done several cleanup campaigns, not too bad. I've done several cleanup campaigns, me financing it by myself. So we could come together as a people and keep our community clean. You could do it in all the other communities. You don't have to wait for a step. You don't have to wait for a step. Step is 3 times for the year. I was really shocked when I went down there today, and I spoke to the young lady about it. I said, "This, you guys don't try to clean up your community and keep it nice and clean." She said, "Yeah, there's a committee together, but anyway." All right. So we have another 11 minutes, boy, and we didn't even get to the big one yet. The big one here is road, bridges, and infrastructure. Yes, that's the big one. Road, bridges, and infrastructure. And that ministry now is run, if you will, or overseen, or the portfolio is now been given to none other than Sean Edwards, the representative for Denry North. All right, let's run through it quickly. I hope we could go through it and elaborate on it a little bit. It says commence the Maho Road Rehabilitation Project. Maho. It didn't say Laho, it says Maho. Now, I know there's a Maho. There's 2 Mahos, I think I know. And I don't know which of the one that the road construction is. I hope I'm not mixing Maho with Laho. There's Laho and there's Maho. This one says Maho. Commence the Maho Road Rehabilitation Project. All right. Next one says approve funds for the reconstruction of the Julian R. Hunt Highway. And this is the big one. You know, I've spoken about this in length, and I said nobody is more excited than in all of St. Lucia than me, because I've been driving all my life. And this road is responsible for taking the lives of several St. Lucians. And it is packed, congested. People are upset when they're on that road. Upset, especially myself. I don't like traffic. I don't like traffic at all. So people are really pissed off. And this is the big one here. Approved funds for the reconstruction of the Julian R. Hunt Highway. That is going to commence very soon. All right, let's run through this. I've spoken about this a whole lot, so I don't have to go to speak about it anyway. But then from time to time, I'll talk about it because I think it's outside of the water project. This one will be St. Lucia's biggest project. It may not be the one that costs the most money, but it will be the most meaningful one in my estimation. Most meaningful outside of the water project. I don't think there's any other project that's going to be more meaningful than this one. Not that the other projects were not meaningful. This one, I think, based on what it entails, I think this one will be the most meaningful one ever. All right, it says approve funds for that project. Mobilize resources for the reconstruction of Berth 4 after 50 years of operations. Berth 4. For those of you that don't know what a berth is, it's out there on the docks. That's how it's called, berth. So berth 4, I think it's towards the end, right there at the corner in the Fuasho area, because that dock or that berth has been given some problems. I think it's failing. As a matter of fact, there's some cracks. I even heard that one of those cranes went through a small part of it. I don't know how true that is. So they're going to be doing some mobilization there on that berth, and they're going to reconstruct berth for after 50 years of operation. Now, it doesn't matter how strong that berth is. I'm certainly sure there have been some accidents where those huge cargo boats, every once in a little while, maybe run into the docks, maybe run into the wall, destruction, over time. 50 years, that's a long time. And it is indeed that time, because I remember as a kid, this was the basin. And we were going over there, and they called parts of the area, I think Shitali and all that kind of, not Shitali, what's the name of it? Monavi, some name, I don't remember for now. But I remember we were going, as youngsters, we were down in that area before it had been developed. And that's a long time ago, 50 years. So after 50 years, it would be nice to see that the government, that's a lot of money is going to be spent there. A lot of money is going to be spent in that area. But for me, the initial plans in regards to moving the cargo dock down there at Cul-de-Sac, for me, that's me, I think that would be a more appropriate gesture to go down there and have all of those cargo boats going down there, as opposed to down into, I don't know. If the government would know better, maybe there's a reason why they're not going down there. Maybe because of Buckeye, maybe Buckeye doesn't want to share the area. I don't know. So they're going to be spending some money there. That's great stuff. All right, rehabilitated the Massad Road. And it says, not Massad, Masque. That's what I was saying. I was saying, why is that Unstery? So rehabilitated the Masque Road. And for those of you that don't know where the Masque Road is, that stretch, that road in the corner there in the Masque area, before you go down into the Unstery village. Now that road, there had some nice paving on it. There were some areas where, I'm not seeing too much widening of the entire West Coast Road. They did a lot of work there, some money to spend, but I'm not seeing too much widening. I don't know if it is, they don't have the space maybe, but it would be nice to see some widening of that road. There's a lot of corners on that road there as well. And you rarely hear of an accident going on down on the West Coast Road. Why is that? Because people are driving cautiously because they know what's happening down there. One slip and that's it for you. You're going to go down a few thousand feet, especially when you get to the super area. They're never going to find you. Never. You will not be found for weeks. So people take their time to drive. People drive with due care and attention. So if you could do that on the West Coast, why not do it on the East Coast and in Grosley and everywhere else? So you're taking full advantage because you know you're not at too much of a risk for going down a precipice of 2,000 feet. Yeah, there's some areas down there that's that deep. They're not going to find you for weeks. But I didn't see too much of a widening of the pavement. Is good. The paving is good, nice. But I didn't see too much widening. Maybe there's not enough space. Anyway, it is what it is. All right, completed surface improvement works on the Badalil. Now that's my alley. I'm on that road all the time. They did a remarkable job with some paving there, I must say, on the surface at the Badalil, because it was terrible. But guess what? So they did not do a complete resurfacing of the entire Badalil. The areas that were really problematic is beautiful, really nice. But guess what? So the areas that were better before the actual work began, now they are going bad. This is something. Because of the terrain, the area. It's always a wet area and, water is always on that road. So there are now some other holes now popping up. So they might have to go back there and give a revisit. But they did a remarkable job on the bad parts of it, I must say. And it took some time, backup traffic, but it is beautiful what they did. But the areas that were better than what was done is now starting to bring about a little problem. And I'm seeing it, and I saw it 2 weeks ago. And as the rain comes, as the rain starts there, it's starting to get worse. So I don't know if they're going to go back there, but there's a little hiccup popping up there in the Badalil. But great stuff. All right. It says they completed the Norbert Road. Now the Norbert Road is up there, that road leading into Vesikwe. That road was a mess. That road was bad. And they did some good stuff on that road, especially in the Vesikwe area. I don't know. I'm always asking for a name change of that Vesikwe stuff. Trust me. I know I'll never get it. I don't have that level of authority. But if I was in that position, I would change that name Vesikwe. I don't like it. I don't know what it means. Vesikwe, I don't know if Vesikwe was somebody, if it was a Gaje or La Jablesse or Bolam, because those words were used a lot. Those words were used a lot in the last campaign. So I don't know. I don't know what it was. But that name basically, man, I don't know. They should change that. Give it a name. Something Hills, Prince Hill, Royal Hills. Some name that is unique and nice. Basically, I've always had a name problem. I don't know we basically was about them. So let's see how that. Anyway, so that is that. So it says a completion on the Norbert Road. That's up there in the north. All right, removal of concrete buildup on River Dore Bridge. And that was a problem. I saw that. Now, I've always said that the government need to put something in place for those cement trucks or concrete trucks that when they fill up their buckets, those big buckets that are on those concrete trucks, and they're going up hills or whatever, and that thing is spilling on the road, and when it hardens, it's a problem. They would cut your tires, they would bring a lot of problems to your vehicle. That, if somebody could identify what company, take the license plate number, and bring it to the authorities, and let the authorities, not the authorities, the company take full responsibility to remove that. I just saw them doing some on the top of the Shock Hill last week. They had personnel there trying to dig it out with Hiltis, concrete that fell off the truck, and it hardened, and it's there. It's causing a problem. People have lost their tires on that because it's hard stuff and it has rugged edges. Rugged edges, and it cuts your tire. And who's going to pay for it? Nobody knows who the company of the company that spilled that concrete there on the roads. And then the government has to step in. These are things that are unnecessary. These are things that could be fixed. You don't fill your bucket up to its brim, and then now as a result of a spill, people have to lose their tires. And then the government now have to come back in, pay personnel to remove it. These things are not, we could fix these things better. Things just need to be put in place to avoid these things from happening. See trucks, people drive trucks with lumber, no tarpaulin, things fly. Anyway. Boy, look at that. It's already 10 o'clock. Can you believe it? It is indeed 10 o'clock. I have a minute, exact a minute after 10. So let's complete this one and then we'll sign off. All right. So again, this is the concrete buildup on the River Dore Bridge. The government got involved with this. All right. Completed the upper La Pointe Road rehabilitation in Dennery South. Now, those of you who know the La Pointe area, they completed that upper La Pointe Road that's up there in Dennery South. Commence road rehabilitation works in town extension in Soufrière. So they did some work down there in Soufrière. Commence road rehabilitation work in town extension that's down in Soufrière. Next one, commence road rehabilitation works in Font-Jean-Libre, Soufrière. I hope I got that right. Commence road rehabilitation works in Font-Jean-Libre. That's down in Soufrière as well. All right, continue work roads near Boulevard Street in Soufrière. Oh boy, Soufrière is getting a lot of work done down there, road works. Yeah, continue road, continue. So it looked like this had been commenced for a little bit, maybe from last year. Continued road works near Boulevard, is that Boulevard? I hope it's Boulevard. Yeah, Boulevard Street in Soufrière. All right, completed the Magwetu Drainage Works in Miku North. Magwetu Drainage Road in Miku North. And finally, open the Ancillary Bridge. Well, I didn't know that bridge was open. I have not been down there in maybe a couple months. I have not gone down that side. I didn't know that. Is it really open? I didn't see an opening ceremony. It says they opened Ancillary Bridge. That's all I get on this one. So I'll inform on that to see how that goes. Pretty much all the stuff from the Department of Infrastructure and all what we spoke about, all what we went through tonight had to do with the government's achievements, proposal commencements for the first 100 days. Now that's a lot for 100 days. 100 days is just 3 months and a little bit according to our youngsters. If they were able to, in the various departments, commence stuff, continue stuff, all this in 100 days is beautiful stuff. Now, for those of you that probably not loving this, you don't love your country. No, you don't. Because all this is positivity. This is not a campaign for any elections. This is stuff that the government of the day, if it was the other political party that was in office, this would be stuff for the people of the country as well. And I must remind you, it's your money. They're just presiding over the affairs, bring about policies, but this is your money. When the loans are taken out, you're the ones paying it. So appreciate the things that have been done in your communities. C'est l'argent oui. Because pes Prime Minister pa yale asu big bank, live bank liek pour $1 million fè rien, pes kode. That's never going to happen. No Prime Minister is going to go on his bank account and take out $1 million and bring about a project in any. That's not, never. You will never live to see that. Never. But the Prime Minister can take out $1 million, take out a loan to bring about a development or project in any community. And at the end of the day, members of the community and the public and the general public are the ones that's going to pay it back. And we should be proud to pay back our loans. I wonder what St. Lucia record is in regards to payback of loans, because we have taken out some loans, boy, a lot of loans. Shaila Jean, Point. So I would really like to ask, where are we in terms of us being good creditors, so to speak? You know? All right. So I want to say thank you very much, St. Lucia. And, I wanted to run through some other stuff, but time does not permit. The program is called Friday Nights with yours truly, the man Champagne. It's a program of a difference. It's not a political program. It's a program of prosperity, progress, futuristic events, affairs, things that are going to benefit our country. I may not have all the information now, but I'm starting to dig up. And I hope I could get some more information on government achievements, their accomplishments, and things, not just government, beautiful things, organizations that are bringing about good stuff to our people and our country. This is what this program is all about. There's no fighting, no fire, no fury. Just about us doing beautiful stuff. So I want to say thank you very much again for joining in. And God bless you. And you will hear this voice again on Monday, God willing, as we bring you the program Champagne in the Morning. Tomorrow morning, my brother DJ Eddie will be with you in the morning to bring you Mix Up Saturday. Mix Up Saturday. And then on Sunday as well, my brother comes in to bring you a variety of different kinds of music. Country and Western, gospel, reggae, soca, calypso, zouk. Tune into Solid FM this weekend, and you will have a good morning with dance into the afternoon. All right, the man Champagne saying goodbye. God bless you. You have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you next Friday at the same time, 8 o'clock to bring you another program. Let's sign off with our beautiful song and pay attention to the song because this song is indeed St. Lucia. Bye-bye. Have a good night.
St. Lucia, land of the West, land of breeze, my natures are blessed. Seed rising from the sea, and valley spreading verdantly, majestic beat on Sulphur Springs, St. Lucia, land of beauty sings. Distinguished men have graced thy past, their deeds of fame for thee amassed. May with thy newborn always be people prepare to honor thee, majestic Peter, Sulphur Springs, St. Lucia, land of beauteous things. Wherever thy native children go, full harvest of goodwill they grow. Creative seals in arts and crafts, cast from their ingenious hearts, majestic Peter, Sulphur Springs, St. Lucia, land of beauteous things. May wisdom guide our hearts and minds in carrying out progressive plans. May lead us always be upright in this land of hope and light, majestic Peter, Sulphur Springs, St. Lucia, land of beauteous things.